Let's travel back to 1586, to a very different time. During this time, a horrendous company was taking advantage of the transatlantic slave voyages. Let's take a closer look into what's happening. Right now, there's a ship sailing from a port which name we have lost track of the times. All we have left is that it's sailing from Spain. The name of the ship, NS de la Ayuda.
NS de la Ayuda has sailed. The ship's captain is Francisco González. He is part of the many other sailors that want to make some money by selling slaves in the relatively newly discovered Americas. He has orders to go to the Bight of Biafra, where he can get them easily without a lot of resistance from the natives. His initial orders are to purchase 300 slaves, but as a good Spanish businessman that he is, he will try to feed the more slaves he can in order to gain more income.
Francisco arrived at São Tomé, an island that belonged to the Kingdom of Portugal. He saw there the potential that slaves had, and started planning to pack 498 slaves, almost 200 more than initially planned. He negotiated with the native chief and was able to feed all of them in the small NS de la Ayuda.
Many months later, Francisco left São Tomé and it sailed into the New World. Back then, to cross the Atlantic was something only the most brave ones did, and even more with a bigger crew than it was initially planned.
During the trip, 21 slaves died. We're not sure how, but their most probable fate was that they starved to death from the lack of supply. A year has passed since Francisco González sailed from Spain, and he was finally reaching its destination. He was finally arriving at Spanish Caribbean, and in the year 1588, he arrived at Cartagena. That's probably not how Cartagena looked like back then. It looked something like this, since it was a newly founded town.
On January 4, 1588, 279 slaves disembarked from the NS de la Ayuda in Cartagena. From the records that we currently have, we know that Cartagena wasn't González's last location to sell his slaves, but it was his main.
We don't know González's fate. He probably came back to Spain to sell many more slaves. He was one of the many slave sellers in charge to keep the slave trade at its peak. And this company will stay alive for 3 more centuries.